Hey everybody, JJ here, back again with another Wednesday of Zoom networking. And do we have an absolutely unbelievable young man to talk to you about an unbelievable topic, a topic that I'm sure you're going to want to learn more about. Our guest speaker, um, as a father, he's a family man. He started as a student, became an investor, and now is a very successful entrepreneur. Not only is a very successful entrepreneur, he was selected, chosen by SubTo to be the accountability leader for all the SubTo community for Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. This man's been recognized by his community as well as the educational program being SubTo. I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, Mr. Gio Garcia. Gio, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. How you doing, JJ?
I'm good. I'm good, brother. So, hey, to be a little bit more specific, for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
I'm in Las Vegas. I've been here for like 18 years, so this is home now.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. Hey, I want to get right into your topic, but really quickly, you and I met through Sub 2. What were you doing before you became a real estate investor? What were you doing? Was it available to you in your teens and 20s, or did it happen later? Or
It happened later. I always wanted to get into real estate, but I went to college for engineering. Even before graduating college, I wanted to get into it, and I created an LLC, but never did anything with it. Like, pretty sure most of you can relate. You start something, you put it in a drawer, and take it out later. So that's what happened to me. So it took me about a year to start doing something with it. But I started when I was 23, 24.
how did you find out about Pace? Did he come to your city? Was it a TV commercial? Was it Bigger Pockets?
So the very first time I met Pace was when he was doing, I don't know if you guys are in SubTo. He was doing the Pace and Jamil go around the states, the 50s. I forgot what's it called. But he was doing that. He was doing meetups. He was doing presentations all over the United States with Jamil. And I met him. Ryan Pineda hosted him in one of the. I remember this clearly. He hosted him in one of the title companies, and I went there. I forgot why. Christian didn't wasn't able to go there, but I was very new, very naive about networking. So I went there, I met him, I heard his presentation, and right after presentation was over, I left. I saw that a lot of people were staying behind and like, what are they doing? And I just left because like, all right, the presentation's over, I'm out. Right? I treat it like a class. Like when you go to a college, you
Cool.
go to
Yeah.
class is over, you get out of there. So I didn't know anything about networking, and that was my first experience about networking, which I missed networking with the people there when Pace first got here, it got to Vegas. And then a year after, we saw him on Instagram. So, like you said, social media, being out there is really important. So we found him again with Christian through social media, and we joined his mentorship in 2021.
Awesome. And obviously, you've been helping your community. You've been recognized by Seb too, and I congratulate you for being chosen as the accountability leader for Las Vegas and Southern Nevada. That's quite an honorable title.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So your topic today, let's get right into it. Acquire Sub 2 and sell as a wrap.
Correct.
So we got some new people on the call, probably have new people watching, on YouTube. What does it mean to acquire Sub 2?
So let's start with defining what a sub to is subject to existing mortgage. So we basically try to buy or we buy property um, from sellers and we take over their existing mortgage, right? So we don't have to qualify for a mortgage. Our credit is not ran. We just either have to pay if they have any late payments, pay them off to reinstate the loan, give the seller some cash, whatever the situation is. We try to work it where it's a win-win scenario and we take over the existing mortgage, right? So then we have control of the property. Our name is on title, their name is on the mortgage. So now we have technically no liability, yes? So that's a sub two when we take over somebody else's mortgage, right? So the way we acquire them, the easy way, so when you get into all these real estate classes and education, they tell you, oh, yeah, all right, you need four things. You need timeline, you need the price, you need the condition of the property, and the most important, the motivation. Motivation is the most important one, especially with sub twos, because sub twos, it's a tool to acquire property. It's not the best tool, it's not the most common tool, but it's a tool. So if the motivation is not there, then you're gonna have a hard time convincing somebody to let us take over the mortgage. So the way we do it is we go to the MLS and we find people that are already motivated to sell, right? Because they're on the MLS. Another realtor signed a contract with them, they're committed and they want to sell for whatever reason. So I save time by going to the MLS and calling the agents, or if the agents don't want to talk to me, we call the sellers directly. So that saves us time. So now we go in there, we try to make it work. Once we acquire them, then we'll get into the wraps. But was that clear enough about what's up to and how we get them?
Yeah, I think so. And obviously, there's many ways to acquire property creatively.
Yes.
And obviously people always talk about, having the mortgage still in their name and yet title switches. There's a bunch of details that we can get into later. But in a nutshell, that answers that. Now, what does it mean to sell as a wrap?
So sell as a wrap. All right. So in Vegas, we have a really um specific market, right? In Vegas, we get a lot of people coming from your state, California. They sell their two bed, one bath house for $2 million and they come here to Vegas and they have money to spend, right? So they purchase a property. They sometimes they overpay for it. Um, and our prices go up. But now the rent does not catch up to those those mortgages, right? So we were forced into wraps. The reason we have to do a wrap is because if we buy a sub two and we try to rent it, we'll be negative cash flow every month. So the mortgage will be 2,000 and the rent will be like 1,800. So we'll be losing about $200. This is an average, about $200 a month. So what is a wrap? A wrap is when you sell that sub two property, that creative finance property, to somebody that wants to buy it, or that wants to buy it, or that cannot qualify for original mortgage. So we'll sell it to them. I'll tell you why this is important. Once we sell it to that other party, we tell them, all right, your mortgage payment is gonna be 2,200. So now instead of losing $200, we're making $200 a month, right? And then if we paid $10,000 to acquire it, we'll charge the new buyer about $15,000. So we'll make $5,000 in the front end and $200 every single month until they pay off the loan or they sell it. So that's what it's a wrap is. So we purchase in, if you want to do an analogy, we purchase a sub two and then we have a buyer and comes and takes over that. We basically sell it to them with a little bit of higher terms of what we got it. So we can make money. And again, we were forced to do that to get into that strategy because Vegas does not meet the rental amounts of what the mortgages are here in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not. It's certain parts of the country like Los Angeles where
Yeah.
the prices are astronomical and the rents don't always catch up. So Gio, is this more for single family homes where we're looking to acquire a home that's and then purely for rentals, or does this work for buy and hold in any way?
Yeah, so the good thing about wraps is that you're basically creating a note. So the asset is the note. Banks do this all the time. They create a note, which is the mortgage, and they trade the note. So I can trade the note. I can sell you that note that I created to my other buyer. And that note, it has value because you will be cash flowing $200 a month, right? I'll probably tell you like, all right, JJ, I'll sell you this note. It has 30 years left. Let's say 10 years left. So it's worth $20,000 face value. Give me five for it. So give me five for this note, and I'll sell you this note. So I get $5,000 right now, and then you in exchange will get $200 a month. As long as the buyer keeps paying, you get $200 a month, which if you wait the 10 years, you'll get 20.
Rob, you're on with Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Hey JJ. Hey Gio, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, question now regarding the sub two. You obviously have done your share of direct to agent, correct?
Correct.
So let me ask you, I'm doing that right now. And obviously you got to build that relationship with the realtor, with the agent. So, but I'm getting a lot of immediate not interested, not interested, because they see we're the low ball price, and I totally understand that. I just want to be a resource to them when the time's right. But how have you initiated a conversation from the get-go when you just have them cold and shutting the door in your face?
So I'm a realtor, right? So I know their lingo. So let me add to that, right? So realtors and lawyers and other professionals, they have a big ego. Yes, anybody that has a license, in my opinion, has a big ego. So you need to, like JJ said, you need to build rapport with them.
Right.
You need to, and the way I do it is I build up their ego first. So hey man, like hey, I see your listing. Like I like the pictures. What did you hire somebody specific? Can you refer that guy to me?
I
And I
like
don't
that.
know, I'll throw you $100 for the referral. Like I really like how you take your pictures. Right now it's very common that they're doing virtual staging, and you see all kinds of stuff. So
Oh
hey,
yeah.
who's your virtual staging guy? They did a great job. Refer that guy to me, and I'll throw you $100. So you establish that relationship first, and the way I see it is like everybody's like, what's in it for me, right? So I throw that to them, like, all right, I'm gonna give you value first. I'm gonna raise your ego first before I ask for what I want. So that's how I talk to agents. You'll get the most like 80% of them are like, are you from the SubTo or you from that Pays Morby group? Like screw off, right?
Right.
You get those regardless of what happens, right?
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but the way I get them to talk to me is elevating their ego and praising them a little bit, before you even pitch what is that you want.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because like I said, what I'm finding out, because right now I'm involved where they're already receiving an LOI from me. So the minute they associate me with that LOI, they're like, no, no, no.
yeah,
And and then I do try to find some commonality right there and to really change the conversation and divert it to them to like, they have to focus on me and like me. But I'm just trying to find, I appreciate what you just said about ego because I didn't even think about that. I'm just trying to be transparent and hey, trust me. But I love the whole ego part. Really do.
yes. So also so first of all, if you're marketing in Vegas, I've heard from different people marketing in other states, Vegas agents are the worst, according to other people that I talk to. Vegas agents are the worst. Why? I don't know, but they are, except me though. If you're targeting Vegas, Vegas is already hard as is. Um, I forgot what I was gonna tell you with this. Oh, the LOIs. As soon as an agent hears the word investor, like, hey, Gio, this is Rob. I'm a local investor. Put block. They're like, oh, here we go. Like, what do you want? Right away, as soon as they hear
Right,
investor or I have an LOI, then they'll shut you down right away. They
right,
won't even listen to the rest of your message. Even if you offer them $1 million, they zone you out already. So don't use the word investor and tell me, hey, I like this house. Can you represent me? I know you're the listing agent, but in Nevada and Las Vegas, we do the double commission. So what's in it for them? Double commission. Like, hey, can you represent me? I want to buy that property, but it's not the conventional way. This is the way I want to buy it. So
yeah.
now you throw them a bone of a double commission, and now all of a sudden they're very helpful.
No, I like that because you immediately put them in a mentor position, and
Yeah.
you're asking for their guidance and for them to teach you. I totally
Exactly.
get that. Yeah, I like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Thank you.
that's another strategy that I like to use. Like, hey man, so who is this Pace Morby? Like tell me more about him. And then they start telling you like the negative things about it, right? So
Right.
now you know what not to say. So now if you know your stuff, then mention the good part of it or just question it. Make them look like they're the smart person in the conversation. Even if they're not, just make them seem that way and they'll talk to you more.
But Gio, that's really all I had because that's really what I'm hammering away at right now. But I appreciate all the advice.
Rob, at the end of the call, we'll ask Gio the best way for you to stay in touch with him.
Yeah.
So you can connect. And again, guys, if you're on the call, um, by being on these calls, you get to get introduced to the guest speaker. No better way to build that connection. Rob, thank you so much, my friend. Mr. Paul Hernandez, you are on with Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Oh, thanks, JJ. Gio, nice to meet you.
To meet you.
If you're pursuing sub-twos, what type of loans would you basically want to avoid?
The ones that are high interest, anything over 6%,
What about the adjustables?
those depends on those. I've started here more adjustable loans here in Vegas. They start at 2.99 and then they go to 3.99 and then 4.99 and then they become fixed at like 5.49. So as long as the PITI works, which is the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, which is your monthly payment, as long as that works, then you're good. So you need to know you need to know your market. You need to know like, all right, how much are in my specific issue, I need to know how much my wrap buyers are willing to pay, and I know they will not pay more than 2,500 a month. So if you find a house that's 8%, but the monthly payment is 1,800, I'll probably still consider that one. So
Oh, okay.
so look at the PITI, or the monthly principal, interest, tax, and insurance.
Oh. Yeah, actually, that's specifically what my question really was about, the adjustables. Um, yeah, just if people were going to immediately turn their nose up to them. But I guess there is a possibility to salvage it some way.
Yeah, as long as the monthly payment is good, you should be okay. Just make
Okay.
sure that you request the original note, because in that note, that document, you'll see like the terms of the like
Yeah.
how often will it adjust. Like, would it go
Yeah.
to 10%? Would it ever come down? Like, what's gonna happen with that rate? So
Okay.
you need
Yeah.
to see that.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much.
Felicia Smith, you're on with Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Hey, Gio,
So
you really explained to me because I've been trying to get to know the differences in this. And so with the SubTo, I had a question though. I have the title, they have the mortgage. Who's living in the house?
you're the owner. You can do whatever you want with it. You can burn it to the ground if you like. You can put a tenant in there. You can live in it. I wouldn't recommend having the owners there anymore after you close. That's your
Mhm.
property. Once you try to kick them out after the fact, they will not leave, or they'll resist. Let me not
Okay.
say that. They'll resist a little bit more because it's their home, right? It's on their mortgage, their credit.
Hmm. Hmm.
So they'll resist more about leaving. So you can bring in a tenant. You can do what we do, which is wrap it. We sell it to another buyer. You can do whatever
Okay.
you want with who's living in the property.
Gio, let me jump in with a question here. Felicia, when you bought this house, was this occupied by the owner or was it a rental?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to understand.
So, but you own the house. Is this an actual house right now, or is this
Oh, no, 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 no. I was giving an example. Sorry. I was giving an example, trying to learn. That's all.
well? And Gio, look, help me here a bit because obviously you know more about this than I do. If someone's living in the house and they have a mortgage on it, right? And they want to get out from underneath it, and they're going to sell the house on a SubTo,
Mhm.
then they still have the mortgage is still in their name,
Yes,
and then we own the house, but we then would need to make a move, would we not? As you said, we either get a new tenant in there or we sell it on a wrap.
correct. Yeah, that's the purpose, Felicia. So you want to get the current people that are living there out so you
Mhm.
can rent it and make money out of it.
Okay, I guess where I'm getting lost is you saying they still own the mortgage or they still making the mortgage payments?
We make the
What
money.
we make it,
Yes.
but it's still in their name, or does it become in my name after we go through the title company?
The title will be under your name. The mortgage
Right.
stays under their name. Two different documents. They're separate.
Okay, that's where I'm getting lost because if I'm the owner and I'm paying the mortgage, then why would I leave? That's what I'm trying to understand.
So
If I was the original owner, this is my mortgage that I'm still paying,
yeah.
and the other person owns it now. The new person comes along and owns the title. So they still paying on the mortgage. What's the purpose of that? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, the new owner pays for the mortgage.
You know, police, I think one of the things that we need to look at, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gio, is the person that has the house originally before you buy it needs to have a motivation to sell.
Okay.
Correct.
They need to have a motivation. They need the money. They need to move. There needs to be a motivation. And if they're not motivated, then as Gio says, you're not going to get them out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, sub twos or creative finance is one of the last options that people have. They need to have a really, 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 really strong motivation to sell it to you through creative finance, through sub two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple examples is they're late. They're
Mm-hmm.
late. Six payment. I have a deal right now that we're negotiating. The bank send them a letter October 29th. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you're late. If you don't pay me in 90 days, we're gonna repossess the house. So the house is not in great condition. If they put it in the market, they're not gonna make what they owe. So we come in and we're like, hey, we'll pay what you owe and we'll take the house as is. It's not in great condition, but you just walk away. Like, or I'll give you moving expenses, or here's 5,000 for, or I'll pay 6 months of wherever you're gonna move and rent. That's typically what we do. So that way it's a win-win scenario, right? So once we acquire that property, we're gonna rent it or we're gonna sell it to somebody else. And if my payment is 1,800, we're gonna sell it to somebody else at 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I
that's
think you answered my question then. Okay, I got it.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you, Felicia. Good to see
You're
you.
welcome. Good to see you too, JJ.
Hunter, how are you? You're on with Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Hey, Gio. I was wondering, so let's say I have a transaction ready to go for SubTo. How long is it going to take for us to close? And what purchase agreement should we use to get that under?
So sub creative finance is tricky. So paperwork is matters a lot. If you have a transaction, I would really recommend hiring a TC, which is a transaction coordinator. Depends which transaction coordinator you hire, they'll provide the paperwork for you. Some of them will just be like the middle person, and you have to provide the contracts, um, and then fill them out, and then they would just be like, "Hey, you need to send me this. I need to send it to escrow," right? So, and some of them, like I do a little bit of transaction coordinator. I'll provide with the whole shebang, right? I'll give you all my contracts, my addendums. We were talking about trust, how we found a way to do it through a trust. Um, so really, really recommend if it's gonna be your first one, hire somebody that knows what they're doing already, because there's little tips and tricks about it. If you don't do the paperwork correctly, yeah, you can get into a messy situation.
How long does that take you? Are you free to do that today?
Today, Christian can probably do it. So talk to Christian.
Yeah.
Oh
Hunt,
yeah. Probably, yeah, we could do it today. How long does it take me? I just need like if you hire me, I'll probably need the mortgage statement, the note, and like the terms, like what did you promise the seller? Um,
Hmm.
Writing the contract should take 2 hours.
Okay, cool.
So
The
Gio,
other thing. Oh,
I think Gio, you've mentioned Christian. Shall we, uh, for this very question, introduce him briefly and bring him on the call?
Yeah, I don't know if he's available.
He looks like he's there.
Yeah, I'm available.
Here we go. Let's bring him on. So, Hunter, Christian works with Gio, and at the end of the call today, we will be giving the information on how to contact Gio. So after the call today, if you've got lengthy questions, if Gio doesn't, contact you, Christian will probably one of Gio's team. But I did want to take an opportunity to introduce you to Christian momentarily. And I think, Gio, I think part of the thing Hunter's asking is on a standard type of situation. There's always exceptions and things get drawn out for some conflict or another somewhere along the way. But generally, can these things move pretty quickly?
Yeah, as long as you have agreement with the seller, they move pretty quickly. Here's the exception on sub twos. Like I said, we're typically the last option. There's no way out for the seller to go but creative. So it takes us from initial contact to closing about 2 months, 2 to 3 months. Why? Because we constantly keep following up with the seller. They want to explore putting it in the market. They want to explore selling it cash to an investor. They want to explore other options. And once they see they can't go on any other way, that's when they come back to us. So from initial contact to closing, it takes us in Vegas about 3 months to do, 2 to 3 months around there. But it's because mostly the seller like wants to explore somewhere else, see if they can make more money out of it.
There you go. Hey, Christian, how long have you been working with Gio now?
I mean, we've been working together because we used to do Airbnbs together. So we've been in the real estate world since 2000, I want to say 17. We used to have a
Wow,
few Airbnbs together here in Vegas, and then we joined SubTo together in 2021, and we've been working together like a whole operation since 2023, I believe.
fantastic.
So yeah, it's been a
So,
ride. It's been a roller coaster.
so if people reach out actually to Gio, you might be one of the people that responds to those looking for assistance.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just depends. So, Gio's really good at closing, talking to people, and just getting the deals together. I'm usually in the background, like running, I know how to do Facebook ads. I run the systems, and I usually like put the deals together. But Gio's pretty good
Okay.
at that too.
So Hunter, feel free, to get both these guys' numbers. But in the meantime, Hunter, did we answer your question?
yeah. Can I just do like a quick little follow-up?
Sure.
Cool. All right. Do you use loan servicing usually?
We have a company that does it, but they're starting to become more, they starting to become picky about it. So now you just need to include an extra document. That extra document is gonna cost like $700 though. So
Is there pros or cons of doing it? Like, should you do it or?
just the pros is that you have records, you have proof that you're making the payments on their behalf. So if there's any issues, you show, let's say the seller sues you and takes you to court. You show the judge like, look, judge, I got a purchase agreement. These are the terms, and I'm making the payment to this loan servicing company, and here's the proof. And the servicing company is sending the payment on your behalf and showing that you're making the payment. So you're following the contract um as written. So those are the pros, the cons. It costs you a little bit more. I think it's like $12 a month. They started getting picky about documents. Like they just added that extra requirement. You need to have a note in favor of the seller. It's gonna cost you like depends who does it, but like I think between $500 and $700. That's extra that we weren't paying before. So cons that I mean they work Monday through Friday. It's like a bank. They take 12 to 1 off. If you have a question, they're not available.
There you go.
Little
Hey
stuff.
guys, let's move forward. We've got some other questions, but Hunter, you can catch up with these guys. I'll give you all the one-on-one conversation. And Hunter, I want to thank you for joining the call today. Let's you and I connect, my friend, okay? Janina, you are on with the Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Hello, the Gio Garcia. So
Hello.
my question is, if I am a realtor and I find you somebody who is wanting to purchase a home on a wrap, um, what type of is there like compensation for the realtors who bring you buyers like that?
Yes. So yes, and if you're asking for a specific amount, it depends on the deal. So if there's a lot of margins for us, then we're not greedy. We like to share the cake, and we'll come to an agreement. Typically realtors get paid 2.5%, 3% of the purchase price. So I think somewhere around there.
Okay, and then what is the typical down payment for a wrap buyer?
In Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anything under 35,000.
Okay.
I
So
haven't
it's
seen.
usually like a set amount like that, like it's not like a percentage of the property.
Um, what is it? Yeah, like 8 to 10% typically in Vegas. I've never calculated the percentage, but it's about no less than 35K. I got one earlier today. They're asking 72,000. So it really varies on
Okay.
the property and price and all that.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem.
John Santalucito, you are on with Gio. What's your question?
Hey, Gio, John here, SubTo Gator. I just have one question, and she kind of answered it a little bit. How are you marketing to wrap buyers?
So if you see
What's your lead source for marketing wrap buyers?
if you see my name and Christian's name, you can tell that we speak Spanish. Spanish is our first language. Those are our rap buyers. How do we market them? Through Facebook. That's the best source right now. There it is. Facebook ads, Facebook Marketplace. So that's our best lead source for rap buyers right now. And we have the advantage that we speak Spanish, so usually the Spanish speaking people are good candidates for buying our raps.
Gio, can you explain why?
Why? Because some of them, or I don't know, like half of them, they start their own business, landscaping, painting, contracting, and then they don't report all their taxes, right? Or maybe they don't have a social security number. They have an ITIN, which getting a regular loan is super expensive. So they prefer to go with us because we're getting them a low interest rate and a decent down payment. So that's why, because Hispanics have their own business and usually they have cash under the mattress.
I have 3 SubTo deals that are not going to cash flow as long-term rentals. So I'm looking at wrapping them.
Yeah, reach out to Christian. Christian, we can either help you find a buyer, a wrap buyer, or show you how we do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again,
All
John, after the call, we'll have the best way to contact Gio and Christian. We'll get you guys all set up so that you can build your relationship. Don't chase the deal, chase the relationship. John, do we answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
Alexandra, if you are on with Gio Garcia, what's your question?
My question is, hey Gio, how are you today? Thank you for coming. Um, I'm talking with a guy, a seller right now, and he's having a 2 unit. He wants to sell a sub two. Also, his entry fee is like $25,000. That's how much he want to put in the packet to walk away. And I'm thinking how you can wrap a 2 unit to the end seller, and if the 25,000 entry fee for the seller is like it's kind of high for the end buyer.
Either you negotiate with the seller or you tell them like, hey, I'll give you half now, half later, or you find a better buyer. You just have to look for the people that match, and those are your two options. But with the seller, you can negotiate, tell them, hey, I'll give you I don't know, I'll give you $15,000 now, and in 6 months I'll give you the extra 10. That gives you time to find a wrap buyer that will pay you, I don't know, 27. So now you make $2,000 up front, and then monthly rent after that.
So, Big Mike, you're on with Gio. What's your question?
Hey, Gio, thanks for having us. So my question is, you've mentioned that you raised the rent about $200, but do you rewrap it with a higher interest rate? And if so, how do you base that?
Yeah, you could do that. So $200 was just an example. We have one where the interest rate we have the interest rate for what was it? 2.5, and we wrapped it to 8.5, I believe. So we increased it by
Wow.
6 points, right? Um, so on that one, our margins are $1,250 a month. So my buyer is paying 2,500, and my payment is 1,500.
Okay.
So it's whatever. So remember when I said that you need to know your market, you need to know what the buyer is willing to pay. In Vegas is 2,500. If I go over, I'm gonna have a really hard time finding a buyer. So I price everything at 2,500 or below.
Okay. And what's your process for vetting the buyers to protect the seller?
So that's when you wrap it, you're in the middle. You're the original buyer. So that's why I like it, because if the way the thing you're talking about is assigning it, right? Once you're assigning it, you have nothing to do in that transaction. If you wrap it, you're the buyer. You have the relationship with the seller and the buyer, right? So you're right in the middle. So if your buyer stops paying, the responsibility comes back to you. So now you have the option of, do you ruin that relationship with the seller, or you step in and you make payments out of your pocket and try to find a new buyer, because that buyer that you had to evict them and get a new one.
Okay. And my last one is, I know there's a document that you can file to prove that they're eligible to afford the mortgage payment. Usually it's about 2.5 times what the payment is. Do you file that with your buyers to qualify them?
This is the first time I hear about that one. So no,
Okay.
basically, uh, the rule that we know is they need to wait 6 to 12 months for the lender to admit that they can take 75% of that payment of their DTI, with the debt to income ratio. So then the seller can qualify for that. That's one of my first questions to the seller. Like, hey, Mr. Seller, you're selling this house. Are you buying another one in the next 12 months? If the answer is yes, they don't qualify for my creative finance offer. So then I I eliminate them. So if they're selling to buy another one right away, they're not a good candidate for creative finance.
Okay. And then are you increasing the purchase price to the new wrap buyer? Let's say you increase the purchase price by 50,000, just in case they refinance 2 years later, and then you're not making any cash flow on it anymore.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We do. So you just have to, if you get it cheap enough, you can sell it for market price. So you can.
Awesome. Thank you, Gio. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
Teddy Alvarez, you are on with Gio Garcia. What's your question?
Anyway, hello everybody. Hey, I'm a realtor as well, Gio, and you mentioned the MLS as being a good source for digging up SubTo leads and contracts, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you do that without offending the other realtor? Do you have somebody else on your team that does that? Because you don't want to put your license in danger by, approaching the seller directly.
Yeah, so my boy Christian has no license, right? So if the realtor, so us as realtors, we have to protect our client's interest. And if you're in my
Right.
way of 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 the seller and I making a deal which benefits their interest, then you're the one that's gonna get in trouble, because you're not doing your job. We have an oath of protecting our client's interest as the listing agent, yes? So if you want to put a complaint under me, then you're gonna be in trouble too, or you're the one to blame because you're getting in the way, because your seller doesn't have any other option but creative finance, and you're just blocking my offer.
And they are supposed to submit all offers, right?
Correct.
As realtors, we submit all offers, good or
Oh
bad.
yeah. Oh
Correct.
yeah.
So my broker, when I interview with my new broker, he knows about SubTo, right? He knows about creative finance. And the condition he gave me, he said, as long as you're protecting the public, that you're doing good for the public, I have no issues with that. So if you're scamming people, then he's gonna have an issue with that, which we don't do. So that was my broker's number one rule. Like, as long as you're doing this in benefit of the public, you're good. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, of course, yeah. If you do anything wrong, that's going to come back on you eventually, and you'll get run over by a diesel truck.
There you go. Gio, gold nuggets. Questions were great, and your answers were phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. For having me.
I got two last questions for you.
Yes, sir.
One, if people want to reach out to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you, like weeks and months down the line?
So
Your MySpace page?
my MySpace, follow MySpace. I don't even have a MySpace. I was in Mexico back then. So my Instagram is the platform that I check the most. It's gio.garcia.realtor, or text me. Introduce yourself. Like, I like, one time you told me, JJ, like, I added you on Facebook and said, like, I don't, like, who are you? You haven't introduced yourself. I'm not accepting your friend request until you introduce yourself. And I like that, and I took that to heart. So I introduced myself.
So here's your Instagram. It will be gio.garcia.realtor. And so one of the best ways to reach you is to message you on Instagram. My last question to you. I have a networking group, and I'm always talking about the importance of networking. And there's many education groups out there for short sale, creative finance, paces groups, SubTo. There's wholesaling groups. There's raising private money groups, a whole bunch of real estate groups out there that have education programs, that have brand new people coming every day. Some are experienced, some are inexperienced. I guess these people coming to these education programs that have a Facebook page for the community don't always use social media to market themselves. From your standpoint as a successful investor and an accountability leader for SubTo, what is the importance of networking to the success of the business for the new or the experienced investor?
Networking is very important. If people don't know what you sell, how can they contact you? I was for a long time, I was the secret agent. Nobody knew I was a realtor. So they call me the secret agent. So ask me how much business was I doing when I was a secret agent versus now. So big difference. So people need to know the product. The product is you, like you mentioned. It's not the business, it's you. Like, this ugly face is the product. So that's what you need to market. And people are self-conscious, but you just gotta, it's a mindset thing. You just gotta get rid of that.
We just have to get out of that and market ourselves like we're, how's the saying go? Kissing hands and shaking babies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So hey, if you guys have enjoyed Gio's call today, please hit the like button on the call today. In the comment section, please put your comments, your takeaways, what you found informative, how you might think I can maybe improve my call, what I'm doing on our end. If you have any guest speakers you'd like to see, please put that in the comments. And if you guys want to connect with me, want to join my networking group, get on to more of what we're doing, scan the turquoise QR code right here. Takes you to my website. Click the register now button. If you want to follow our YouTube channel and all the recordings of our guest speakers, we have about 300 of them right now. Scan the purple QR code. And until then, Gio, I guess so. You and I will see everybody out there in the world of virtual networking.
Yes, sir.
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. If you guys are on the call, don't go away. We're going to have a couple special things coming up for you. So, Gio, for everybody else, we'll see them out in the world of virtual networking, right?
Yep, yes, sir. And before we leave, I want to thank you and for two things: for allowing me to speak in your networking group and fixing my Facebook. Now I'm getting a lot more friends now. I didn't tell you this, but like in the short period of time that you fixed my Facebook page, I got probably like 8 more friends that now we're helping each other with business. So
There
thank
you
you for
go.
that, JJ.
Social media presence, guys, is what it's about. Your social media presence. Hey, if you're on the call, don't go away. Gio and I are going to join you in just a second. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please look for more coming up from FlipSide with JJ. And we'll see you guys soon. Over and out.